Nice to see you again on my channel. Let's dive into the new story and try to resolve it together in the comments below after watching this video. Get comfortable and let's begin. I don't know if my wife is cheating on me or if I'm just paranoid. It started with our sex life. We used to have sex about twice a week, but for the past 6 months, we do it twice a month at most, and I'm the one that's been instigating it. I didn't think much of it because she was fired from her job 8 months ago and has been staying home since. So, I thought maybe she's just depressed or not in the mood. But a month ago, my coworker called me and asked why I didn't tell him that I bought an M3. I was confused, and he explained that he saw a green M3 parked in our driveway. I asked my wife about it, and she said that it was her sister, so I completely forgot about it. But on Friday, I called my wife on my lunch break, and she was out of breath like she was in the middle of working out, and that's what she told me. But during the call, I heard some kind of slapping noises. I thought maybe she was working out during our call. We have a mini gym at our house, so it's not unusual. But in the evening, I met up with a buddy of mine for a beer and complained about our sex life. I also told him about this strange call, and he said, "Bro, some guy was pounding your wife when you called." After thinking about it, it makes perfect sense. But I don't know if I'm just paranoid or if there really is something to it. I also don't know how to prove it if she was, which I doubt she is, but I can't get these thoughts out of my head. Before someone suggests a camera, we have one in our driveway, but I didn't save it when my coworker called about the M3, so I can't verify who it was. But I checked the recording for when I called her, and there wasn't a car parked in our driveway, just her car. Wait, you think she took your call while having sex with someone else and didn't even stop? Is she that psycho? That seems really unlikely. Edit, I'm getting a lot of feedback that this is common, apparently. Oh well. OP says, that's exactly what it sounded like. Her working out explains the heavy breathing, but the slapping noise sounded like doggy. To be perfectly honest, I can't find another explanation for those sounds. But that would mean that she knowingly took a call from you while she was having sex doggy style. Even leaving aside how mind-bogglingly stupid that would be, did her phone just happen to be within arm's reach? And OP says, she always has her phone, she's basically glued to it. So yes, it would be. Don't you think that if she was cheating, she would just not pick up the call rather than actively effing someone else while talking to you? To be honest, yes, you seem paranoid. And OP says, well, no. She picked up every single one of my lunch calls from the past 6 years, so her not even picking up or texting me why she can't would be extremely weird, especially since she's not working. Could you explain why you've said that you have a remote house, yet your coworker just happened to see this M3 in your driveway? What was your coworker doing at your remote house about a month ago? And OP says, you can see the driveway from the country road. The closest neighbor is a mile down the road. That's what makes it remote. What he was doing on the road, I have no clue. Look, I don't think your wife was banging some dude when she took your call, especially factoring in that you didn't see another car in the driveway on your camera or someone entering the house. Why couldn't you just check the camera on the day of the M3 and see it yourself? If you couldn't find it in the camera, your coworker probably screwed up his sighting. Anyway, I think you need more research. Then, we have sex less frequently than to assume cheating. Your other examples are quite a reach. You do seem paranoid, but you should still talk to her about your paranoia and why you feel the way you do. It sounds like you need to use some vacation time and go home at lunchtime. And back to the post-mini update, the M3 wasn't her sister's. I messaged her sister asking if she was driving an M3, and she wasn't. She had an X5 on loan from the dealership, so I know my wife lied about who she was with. And now, to the actual update. So, I thought I'd update everyone on this whole cheating situation. Thanks to some suggestions, I bought a camera for the back door. I called my wife like I usually do during my lunch break yesterday, and I heard the exact same thing, her breathing heavily and weird slapping noises in the background. So, when I got home, I checked the cameras, and no one apart from her was home, and my wife hasn't left. So, when I got back from work, I had a serious talk with her. I told her basically everything, how I thought she was cheating because of her recent change in behavior, her lying about the car, and those weird noises. I also told her I bought a new camera to check. We talked for a few hours, and everything was cleared up. The noises were her masturbating. She said she wasn't honest about it because she felt awkward that she enjoyed doing it while on a call with me. As for her lying about the car, she didn't. It was her sister, but her sister lied to me about what car she was driving. I guess she hates me enough to mess with me. She also discussed our decline in sex life and her taking better care of herself and ordering more lingerie, despite not having sex. She told me she was simply bored, not just with the sex with me, but also with life. She apologized for making me think she was cheating. We agreed to try and spice things up sexually. We also agreed to take a 2-week holiday next month so we can go traveling together like we used to, in hopes of rebuilding the spark between us. So, thanks to everyone who left great suggestions and all the supportive comments and messages. This is probably not the juicy dramatic update that everyone was expecting, but I'm extremely glad that it's not. I couldn't imagine losing my wife. I love how he casually mentions that the sister-in-law hates him enough to lie about what car she drives, like that's just completely normal. I mean, this story was going down one road with a cliff at the end and just veered last minute onto the safe road. I need something to be mad about too, and the sister-in-law hits that itch. Did not expect that ending, but I'm glad that it turned out all right. Now his friend is going to have to hear that it wasn't some dude pounding his buddy's wife, but herself going to town. Only the stupidest woman would cheat on a man in her own home with a Ring camera on the front door. I don't care if he comes in the back door, those cameras pick up everything. You can hear indoor conversations and hours. It has such a wide-angle view that it takes in the view of 4 houses across the street from me. Anyone trying to sneak into my house would have to come from like 3 blocks away and some kind of weird 65-degree angle with a tree involved. So, how do you know the sister was lying? Did the sister admit it to you, or are you going based on what your wife said? You bought a camera for the back door, so the front door was not recorded. And OP says, because of a selfie my wife took with her sister in the fish that they made when she was over. I've always had a camera for the front door/drive, which I mentioned in my original post. I, 24, female, asked my boyfriend, 41, male, his thoughts on an open relationship, and he broke up with me. How could I fix this? First off, let me start by saying that our age gap is not the issue here. My boyfriend is the best thing to happen to me in my adult life because of his age, not despite it. Over the 2 years we've been together, I have grown so much as a person, thanks in large part to his gentle love and overwhelming support. None of my friends in long-term relationships have anything like what my boyfriend and I have, and they all say they wish they did. Also, he's more attractive and in better shape than all of their boyfriends. So, if your first reaction to this situation is that some dirty old man is taking advantage of a young, naive girl, then you're wrong. And for the record, I was the one who asked him out first. I'm sorry if that comes across as defensive, but that seems to be the first reaction to our relationship by anyone who doesn't know us. We are both nurses. He is an administrative supervisor at my company. He trained me my first 2 weeks on the job, and we hit it off because we both love to work out and have a lot of things in common. Nothing happened then, but I just couldn't stop thinking about him. So, after about a month, I stopped by his office after work and asked him out for coffee. 6 months later, I moved in with him. That first year was the best time I've ever had in a relationship. We traveled, ate out, went to shows and movies. He taught me so much about life. He would really engage with me and listen to what I had to say. He also wasn't afraid to ask me those really tough questions that made me look at situations from another perspective. He taught me how to stand up for myself and conflict resolution. The more time we spent together, the more I loved him, and then the lockdown happened. My boyfriend is not perfect. One major problem is that he's a micromanager when it comes to work and a workaholic. As soon as the lockdown started, he started working nonstop. Sometimes he would work 14 to 16 hours a day. From the end of April to the second week in June, he worked 36 days straight. He would come home, kiss me, work out, shower, and go to bed just to get up the next morning and do it all over again. No one asked him to work like that, he just does. He says he has to be an advocate for our patients and make sure they're safe and taken care of. I won't lie, I got really lonely during this time. I talked to him about it, and he cut back some. He even started doing silly things like ordering cheesy decorations online and then decorating our dining room like a Chinese restaurant and ordering takeout from our favorite Chinese place so it would feel like we went out. It was fun and nice, but I was still lonely. Around this time, an old friend from high school contacted me through Facebook. We started talking first on Instant Messenger, and then we started texting. He was really there for me and showed me a lot of attention. After a while, he asked if I wanted to meet up for drinks. Outdoor bars are open here, so I said yes since my boyfriend wasn't home. I ended up drinking more than I usually do, and before I knew it, we were kissing. I'm not gonna lie, it felt really good. I did allow it to go too far, but I stopped it before we had sex. I left and went home. I felt awful, not because I did it, but because I did it behind my boyfriend's back. The next day, I asked my boyfriend if we could talk. I started out by telling him how lonely I felt for these past few months and how I wanted to ask his thoughts on an open relationship. He was actually really receptive. He sat down with me and asked several questions about our relationship and how strong I thought it was. He listened as I explained that I loved him, but I needed attention that he can't provide right now. I wanted him, but I didn't feel like my needs were being met, and this would be an easy and safe way for me to get that attention that I've been missing. He asked what brought this on, and I explained about my friend and how I wasn't interested in a relationship with him, but I would like to go out with him just for some distraction from everything going on. He sat there for several minutes, and that's when I saw the hurt in his eyes. It wasn't until that moment that I realized how selfish I had been. It was like someone poured ice water all over me. I had not once thought about him in this entire situation. But before I could say a word, he said, "You need to leave." I tried to talk more, but he said he was not in a place emotionally to communicate with me effectively and that I needed to give him space. I just broke down crying. I had messed it all up, and I hadn't even realized it until that moment. He left after that and asked me to leave. Before he got back, about 2 hours later, I got a text from him saying that we needed some time apart and he didn't feel like we needed to be in a relationship right now. That was 2 days ago. I'm at my parents' house now, and I can't eat or sleep. I'm a wreck. I know that I'm an idiot and a horrible person, but please, if you have any advice on how to fix this, please help. I am literally making myself sick over this, and I have no clue what to even say to him now. In the comments, what the OP? You can't fix this. You cheated. You did one of the crappiest things to someone who loved you, and you didn't even feel bad about it. You wanted an open relationship just so you could be with your old friend. You didn't even consider your boyfriend. How selfish can you be? OP, use this time to grow, to figure out what you want, to figure out how to change and be a better person, and find someone who can give you what you need out of a relationship. But don't cheat again because that was wrong of you. You can't fix this. You messed up. He's gone. You need to leave him alone and move on. In response to the replies, it was selfishness. You were 100% right about that, but I swear I didn't realize it. I was so caught up in my own feelings that I lost all sense of empathy. He still talks to me though. He answers any questions that I ask. Is that not at least a small sign that our relationship can be fixed? Quite frankly, I don't think you deserve him, not now. You need to grow up and work on yourself before you get into another relationship. You need to tell him you cheated, and you need to just not be selfish for a damn minute and realize he can and will do better. He deserves someone who didn't cheat on him. You need to work on yourself before you get into another relationship. If he has an ounce of self-respect, there is nothing left of that relationship. You, and I mean you alone, ruined it with that skank move. Let him move on, cut contact, and grow up. He deserves better, way better than you. And yes, you'll tell him you cheated because you owe him. This is actually related to the age difference, not for the difference in years, but for the difference in maturity level. You had a wonderful relationship with an equally wonderful man, but you were not able to be an adult when things got tough, so you cheated because he didn't give you enough attention. That's the stupidest excuse for cheating I've ever heard. Basically, as long as things were going your way, you were happy, but as soon as things got a little tough, you cheated. He was working, not out partying with friends or sitting on a computer playing games all day, ignoring you. He was working during the pandemic to provide you stability and a warm, loving home. And instead of acting like an adult in a mature, loving relationship and supporting him, you cheated, and not only that, you state, "I felt awful not because I did it, but because I did it behind my boyfriend's back." Your guilt should lie in the fact that you even considered it and then followed through with it. You were too immature and self-centered to even understand the real problem. Yeah, you screwed up majorly, and you are an immature idiot. He deserves better than you. Learn from this, try to really look at this and figure out why you are so self-centered and understand exactly what it means to commit yourself to one person, one relationship. But for goodness sake, leave him alone. He's seen you for what and who you actually are. Move on, OP. Replies, this is actually very helpful. You're right, I need to figure out what allowed me to block any consideration for my boyfriend out of my mind when it came to talking to my friend. I thought that there was nothing wrong with my actions. I didn't even see it as cheating. I have really messed up here. So you cheated and didn't tell him, so you brought up the prospect of an open relationship so you can sleep with your friend and have it be okay, but still keeping what happened a secret, and then he found out that you were thinking of an open relationship just so you can bang your friend, and he got mad. The only part that makes sense is him getting mad. You screwed up long before that part, though. Endo replies, in that moment with my friend, I swear I didn't see it as cheating. I really did think that what I was doing was right until I saw the look in my boyfriend's eyes and realized I hadn't thought about my boyfriend or his feelings once the entire time that I had been talking to my friend. I'm disgusted with myself. Is there any way to approach this with my boyfriend to help him forgive me? Look at how the paragraph starts. You never thought about him until you saw you hurt him. You are not relationship material until you develop empathy. Now you are free to go seek all the attention you want. With his longer life experience, he knows you were too flawed to continue a relationship with. He's probably kicking himself for letting someone so immature into his life. Some people say you were evil. Not so, you were lonely, and your boyfriend's response to COVID was to become a workaholic. So, he sort of checked out of the relationship first. How you handled the situation with going out with that friend and kissing him was the problem. It does look like your boyfriend was trying with decorating the place like a Chinese restaurant. You should have gone to your boyfriend before cheating on him and then confessed afterwards. Communication is the key here. I hope he takes you back, but if not, I hope you learned something. Good luck. Dopey says, thank you for your kind words. I really do understand that I messed up big time. I just wonder if I should try to talk to him more or give him space. I want to try to talk to him more. I want to beg him to forgive me. But a lot of people here say to give him space and not contact him. I really don't know how to answer this. And then that person gives OP advice, to which OP replies, thank you for your kind words. You were so right. I really do need to welcome myself, and you have given me so much to think about here. Thank you again. One thing that I didn't see in the original post because I didn't know if it was relevant is that actually, he's a widower. That's why he's single at 41. He was married for 10 years, and then his wife passed away 3 years ago. And they say to OP, people like you scare the crap out of me. To cheat on a widowed man and think nothing of it. He suffered the utmost betrayal by life already, and then you insult that by being deceitful and whimsically disregarding his entire existence while you get drunk and make out with another man and, basically, in his heart, at the same time while he's out being a goddamn superhero. And then the nerve to ask for his blessing to do that as often as you feel like with impunity. What the? And now, on to the update. So, it's been over a week, and some people asked for an update, so here goes. He called out last Tuesday and said that he wanted to talk. I was both scared and over the moon because I took the advice so many people here gave me to give him some space. We hadn't talked since the Saturday before, and I missed him like mad. He says he wants to meet at my parents' house, and I agreed, although I thought that was a little weird. When he pulled into the driveway, he sent me a text asking me to come outside. I went out to meet him, and he was standing out in front of his car. I immediately saw that he had somebody in the car with him, and I just broke down. I knew what was coming, and I didn't want to face it. He was so kind. He comforted me and helped me up on the porch, where we both sat on the steps. I can't quote what was said, so this is paraphrased. He loved me, but my actions proved to him that we were in two different places in our lives, and he wasn't going to hold me back anymore. He said he knew I needed to live more and enjoy life before settling down. He apologized for holding me back for so long and thanked me for the best 2 years since his wife had died. I wanted to lay down on the ground and die right there. I just sobbed. It's all I could do. My dad finally came out and helped me back into the house. My dad then went back out to the car and talked to my boyfriend. They talked for a while. I don't really remember how long because I was near hysterical at that point. My mom gave me something to help me relax, and when my father came back in, he whispered something to my mom, and she helped me upstairs to my room. I laid there for a while until I heard someone pull into the driveway. I looked out and saw that a moving truck had backed in. He had all of my belongings at our place packed up and delivered to my parents' house. That's when I really lost all control of myself. I was crying so hard. I didn't feel like I was in control of my own body anymore. My mom ended up sleeping in my room with me all night. In the past 3 days, I have been out of bed probably less than 10 times, and that was just to go to use the bathroom. I'm lost, and worse than that, I lost him. But I was finally able to eat today, so I figured I would give you all a look at the end of my world. So yes, Reddit, you were right, and he left me. You were right that I'm a horrible person, and I deserved this, but it still hurts really bad. And now, in the comments. Even for a 41-year-old, that's a very level-headed thing to say. He could have been all kinds of hurtful, but this is actually the reality, and he made the cut final and quick and did not drag it out. And while it might hurt right now, someday you'll look back at it with good memories. I wish you all the best. To a fault, if you ask me. He took the blame on himself, which he shouldn't have. He didn't have to be hurtful, but lying about it is just going to make her feel justified in cheating. I hope you grow up, OP. I don't know you, maybe your life has been smooth sailing so far, maybe you didn't need much self-reflection, but you might gain some now. Try and practice empathy from now on and to be a little bit more thoughtful. Good luck. Thank you. She seems like she was raised to believe that she was special, which explains her mother sleeping and cuddling with her all night while she was crying. She needs a healthy dose of reality away from this coddled upbringing. This reads like you were feeling very sorry for yourself and not seeing how much you were hurting your ex. Sad to read. I hope you get yourself together soon and realize what you did instead of thinking of yourself as a victim and having your parents take care of you. Actions have consequences, and it would suit you if you faced those. And I just read the comment from you in the first thread. My biggest fear in all of this is that I leave him alone and he realizes he's happier without me. He is happier without you because you only have your own happiness in mind. But loving someone is wanting them to be happy no matter what. If that's without you, wish them luck and let them go. You cannot make this man happy because you only want to be with him for your own gain, not to make him happy. I'm sorry, but this was the consequence of your actions. I felt it in my soul when he said he was the one holding you back, as if he was the one who caused this. God, that hurt to read. I hope you realize you were unable to stop yourself from cheating, and you hurt him by not even thinking of it as cheating. This was on you. He even made an active effort to reduce his hours in order to spend time with you. I hope he can recover from the pain that you've caused him, and I hope to God that you've learned from this. A few people said it in the last post, but you have to work on yourself before even thinking about getting with someone else. Very important. LOL, the issue isn't the age gap. It immediately demonstrates an immense gap in maturity and stage of life, while acting criminally naive and dense when older boyfriends do not, for one moment, put up with her BS. Yep, I'm surprised it was that I'm young and immature version instead of he's older and controlling and only loves my hot bod. So, she pursued a replacement daddy boss and then cheated and tried to frame it as let's have sex with extra people. Nope. The way she describes their relationship and how much he takes care of her and all the things he taught her, I was like, you're describing a father you have sex with, not a boyfriend. A recently widowed replacement dad who was clearly on a rebound. Guys, thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate that you have devoted your time to my work, specifically on this channel. If you subscribe to the channel, I will be happy. But if you decide to talk to me in the comments about this story, I will be even happier. Stay tuned for my next story on this channel.